Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry, Kip decided to pull the cord out the second we hit go. No touch, please. No touch. All right, so some good movement this morning. Well, and a few things. Basically, the yen. The yen is moving. Besides that, not so much else moving. But some, I think it's worth pointing out. Well, it doesn't look like there's a lot of movement. There actually was pretty decent movement. What you're seeing is a lot of these 24-hour pip change in one color and then reversal time frames, or reversals in the other, kind of washing out a lot of those moves. Um, some big ones to note, though. Obviously, 300 and 189 are huge moves. That is all coming on some comments from the BOJ. Okay, so just looking at again where we're at, three, really not a whole lot. 58, not really a big deal. 8, not a big deal. 11, not a big deal. 39, that's a decent mark right there. And again, we knew that this was very high on the curve when we were talking for pound strength to roll back in and euro weakness. And that's just a continuation of seeing that. You're seeing some flash data, not so great. German preliminary CPI, again, Germany is a very big piece of kind of the euro's overall well-being, coming in not only lower as expected, but even lower than expected. So, some concerns that, again, the euro will just suddenly cut off, you know, raises very quickly, as well as Spanish on a yearly basis down at 4.1, not too far from what the mandate is. So, yeah, some interesting stuff there. So let's start off with the yen because that's really where the biggest movement is. We had comments. Where is it? Right here? Basically talking about report that the BOJ will conduct an examination of past monetary policy, kind of looking at things, kind of going forward. Originally it was that, nothing's going to change, but now we're starting to hear that, hey, listen, they're going to conduct it, they're going to check it out, maybe make some revisions, see if they could do things differently. And the market was not a big fan of that. We were calling for 135 by the end of the week in the dollar yen. Well, it's above 135 right now. So profit target hit on that one. With that, again, we see some pound strength rolling back in. That pound strength combined with the yen weakness. Again, a 300 pip day, it happens. It really can only happen. It really can only happen in the yen, but yeah, we're seeing it. My phone's going insane right now. Looks like I'm getting assigned a bunch of games to referee. Yeah. Anyway, and then we rolled into, again, we had all the flash data, right? For Germany, French came in flat, Spain, some Swiss data came out, and then we got our data now. Now the GDP on a monthly basis for CAD, you're seeing the dollar CAD, not too much movement, right? 6 pips in 24 hours. It's technically green, but rolling back in the last hour with some of that weakness coming in. And then we have the core PCE data coming out, right? So the core PCE data. There's more to this, I guess. Here, let me just go ahead and do this. Makes this easier. And click it all this way. So overall, some good data. Again, the core PCE coming in flat. I think that's going to be misconstrued as, yep, it's stabilized. It's still growing. It didn't change. It didn't accelerate, but it didn't decelerate, right? Um, Employment costs, and again, I think the reason why we're seeing what we're seeing is, again, personal income, people are getting paid more, right? The employment costs are going up. Personal spending held flat, right? So we're making more, but we didn't spend more. It was expected to be a negative, kind of a down draw on there, and there wasn't, as well as there was a revision before. So people not spending as much, right? So that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. Um, because of it, people are looking at this like, well, it came in as expected, so it shouldn't be any major changes. And yes, I do think absolutely there's definitely a lot to that. I was actually I was rooting for the point four. And again, I don't think this is a good sign, but what the market looks at is this is what we expected, this is what we got. There shouldn't necessarily be a big change. And I think that's not I don't think that's off base. I really don't think that that's off base. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then obviously with personal income in here, people getting paid more, that's a good sign too because they will eventually spend it. So that's overall not bad. And that's why we're seeing not like monstrous moves in any of these things. Like 2 pips here, what? 2 pips over here, 14. Right? Where are the big moves? 21. You're not seeing it because again, it came in as expected. It didn't necessarily be miss. And again, some of the data was good, but then you had these revisions that people were, the spending maybe wasn't as bad as what we thought. So we'll get Chicago PMI coming in 5 minutes. Again, it's always weird when you have these 9:45 trades because it's like, wait a second, what about the opening? And then 15 minutes later, bam, you're slammed with something like this. Not always the best. And then the rise of consumer sentiment, I don't see too much in there. All right. So looking at the VIX, VIX, it only had a little pop in the overnight, not as much as what I would thought. And it's funny. We talked about being in this higher channel, and then in the overnight yesterday, we just kind of pushed back down, and now we're back into the lower channel from where we were, flirting around with that 16.5 mark, right? And again, looks like there's a lot of buyers. The VIX is not like that. You cannot go to the grocery store and buy VIX. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Kip is now hitting every button on the sound machine. What are you doing? What are you doing? Get your doggy. Get your doggy. So it is pushing back down. You're seeing it is red, right? VIX going down. You're like, oh, that means everything's in the green. And not so much. They're all just slightly in a color. 0.02, 0.07, 0.02, 0.22. You can see Apple down just a tad. Tesla down a little bit more in there. Not any major movement, right? You would assume much bigger moves with something like core PC, but it did come in as expected. So that's what we're looking at right now with it. So overall today, my take on this one is: should this be red? Should this be green? It's really going to depend on the context of how people are looking at this. Having it come in as expected, there's no major shocks, but at the same time, if you break down that 0.3, if the policy right now is working to control inflation, you would assume by now, after all the raises, I mean, we're talking about that's it. We should pause now, and it's going to take time to work. It's still increasing at the same rate that it was last month, and we had a lot of drama last month. Now we have a little bit with the bank again, but overall, I think if you really break this down, saying, hey, listen, that's what the market expected. It kind of shows that the market doesn't expect the current rate to be enough because it's not taking it to zero. It's continuing to go at the same rate, which is not what you want to see. So overall, could all these turn very, very negative today? I think, if you were looking for a sign that the Fed was going to pause, today's data was not it. So I could see these all accelerating just a little bit more. Okay. Looking at commodities. Now you're seeing energy's up. Now, natural gas has got a crazy chart right now. A huge spike up and a huge spike down again. And this is on the heels of some news about a Texas facility coming online. So kind of surprised by this one. I don't know if it's the weekend. I mean, I guess the weather, I don't know, whatever the weather service or whatever it is for the markets has basically said the lower 48 states are going to have a colder next 2 days, and then it will start to get warmer than expected, right? So again, basically the weekend, right? This is the fourth out of 5 weekends or something that lacrosse season's been open, and we've had rain every weekend but one. So not looking forward to the next 12 hours of calls that I'm going to get. But this is a very uncharacteristic spike for basically more production coming online, being at all time, kind of like all time highs production wise. And again, they haven't said when we're shifting over to kind of summertime heat. So again, there are some unknowns out there. But oil, again, under 75, which is great. It's really hanging down here. Again, we want this to push a little bit lower. And then gold and silver, both slightly in the red, under the 2,000 mark, under the 25. And again, those are pretty choppy this morning. Again, people trying to decipher exactly what that core PCE really is telling us. Looking at that, you're like, what do I do with that, right? So yeah, that's what we're kind of dealing with right now. Let's jump over to the Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar. Here was the trade from yesterday. Again, we went all the way down. We came back up, found like a new high in this one, and then continued to push down. Starting from really, I guess, about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock last night, we started to drive this straight down into the ground. And we talked about dollar strength yesterday. Well, yeah, they did. They threw all the dollar strength in, and then before the European Open, it just flatlined on us. It flatlined, and it did. And here, I'll take this off. You can see it did kind of start to push away from that one. It didn't get all the way down to the levels that we're looking for. And again, you may say, well, what about this one? Well, 1, 2, 3, this has hit 4. We're not expecting this to hold. And it didn't. It drove right through, started the base, and then just, again, kind of like the news was put in the overnight, right? Yeah, that PCE is going to come in. They took advantage of it before anybody else could. So, yeah, always fun when that happens like that. So right now, again, we are approaching these 2 levels down south, right? We know that we had kind of a Harry Potter trade set up. We were expecting some buying coming in this level, right? We had, this area marked off. So where we are now, if we do drive any lower with this Aussie strength, I'm sorry, with the Aussie weakness and the dollar kind of strength move, it is going to run into a level here where I could see a bounce coming off, and I kind of want this not to go through. It is kind of a larger level. It was made on a 4 hour, but we're talking about like 15 pips on that one. I think it's important to kind of see where we are. As far as movement for the rest of today, could we now all of a sudden have dollar weakness rolling back in? We could, but it really depends on really how the media is going to digest this point three. But again, no surprise on there as far as being a miss for the forecast. So, but where we are right now, I think this is a decent bottom. If you see where this 23.6 level is, again, when we bring that 23.6 level down now to the low, which again, it's an easy draw from top to bottom. Now you can see we're getting back into this level. Now we have been there before, but up until now, like right here, right here, it is not a 23.6. It kind of was, right? Kind of there. I guess right there, you actually did touch the very, very top of it. But now it's in an area where we can say, hey, listen, now we can get some more substantive things in there. We could say that, listen, that's a decent top there and a strong base with a little bit of confirmation. These were two trades this week that we used. We'll pull that off. We'll take this off because we knew we had sellers. And now we can look at this and say, there's a level sitting there. Is it a today trade? It's got about 55 pips before we hit that level. But that's something absolutely next week where, what are you doing, Kip? Kipster, what you doing, bud? He's making a lot of noise. He's laughing at something in the hallway, so I don't know what it is, but he's probably torturing the dog. Anyway, if it does go up and start to pull back today, and then we get this little push here, this is actually a really nice level for like a Sunday night or Monday night open. What that does is just gives us more dollar strength, which again I think is coming down the road. They're going to talk about raising it again. That's a decent level. You will have some help with 23s. It has been there a few times, but that's a decent candle, a two top base. It came right back down, touched it, and then again, very, very strong push off of it. If there's not a lot in there, you would tend to see this, right? But it did give us a pretty decent move in the overnight. And again, more of a for a dollar base move. He's running around too. So I think mark that one off. We'll put one over here. Change out the white. I think that's what we're looking for. And again, the level down here, it has hit it before in the past. We were really looking for a break below that. So it could potentially bounce. And I'm kind of hoping if it does come down, it does bounce up and close somewhere over here. What? What do you want? Go get sister's play. It's on daddy's bed. Go ahead, go get the play. I'll turn it on for you. You watch Miss Rachel? Yeah, what? I don't know what you want. I don't even have my phone. What? That? Come on. Come here. Do some trading? Here, do some trading? Here. Here. One second, let me grab this right real quick. I have the strangest YouTube history, just so everybody understands. It's hold on. We don't want to hear about Mother Duck. Yeah, like I have all the normal stuff that I watch, and then it's Miss Rachel. So if you guys don't know who Miss Rachel is, you're missing out. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking for right now. Hoping for a bounce. I hope this Harry Potter doesn't get blown up. I'd like to use it next week, but if we do rally back up, I do like that one there. Aussie yen. So Aussie yen, yeah, we had marked off a level saying, hey, listen, there's a 50% there. And you can see the US data. Interestingly enough, right? Actually, this wasn't the US data. This is the yen data. Look how this worked out. The yen data came out right here, right? All the yen data came out right at midnight. All right. Look what happened here. The hour and a half, 2 hours before that news came out, the price went straight back down, right? It went straight down for that news to come up. So while the 50% is typically an area where we're looking for that reversal, we liked it. It was, it was in there. It was actually more of a target because once this pulled back down, we were looking for a long base news trade. And it did. It came up and hit it and then came down and started the base and then hit it and pushed back again. And after those two hits, you're like, yeah, we're not taking the reversal off to this one. And you shouldn't have, right? It invalidated itself. It was a profit target first based off the news. So, very, very risky to take that for an immediate reversal, particularly because it came down and based right below and then came back up and went down again. You're like, yeah, that's two hits with buyers right below. If you were short here, just take yourself out. There's no, to break through this level. Yeah, I guess it's kind of a piece here, but it's already stabbed twice in close succession with buyers. It's going to break, and it did. It broke and kind of put its own little Harry Potter trade in there above the 50, so we can take that off. Now, where we are now, if you look back a little bit, let's take some of these trades off just so we can start cleaning it for next week. Boom. This was the original Harry Potter. Let's take that off. Take that off. Hit. here. Right, that was that one. Let's take this. Let's take this. Yeah, so right now, I still think we need to watch out for this 90. Again, not an A plus base trade. It has hit it 3 times or 4 times at this point. It hasn't breached very deeply, but being 90, we'll have a little bit extra in there. Where we are right now with the 68, 61, there is a level sitting here. It's not my favorite level in the world, but there is a level sitting kind of right above where we are, as well as this is a very easy draw top to bottom. So people are going to be looking at this and be like, oh, 61.8. So I think there needs to be a lot of caution in this. Let's see. Problem is from midnight to now, it's at 128 pips. Um, 94 daily ATR. We are at a spot where reversals are potentially there. Again, the euro, I'm sorry, the yen is kind of at an extreme range at this point. But it is Friday. The Aussie is closed. The yen is closed. If the dollar strength comes in and we're seeing gold and silver go down, again, that is a weak Aussie position. We already know the yen is weak. Question is, will the yen be able to roll back in today? And I don't know how much more we're going to get out of this. My fear on this one right now, guys, is the fact that with both markets closed, with it being Friday, we're running out of steam. We're going to start running out of steam on this one. The 61.8 is okay. The low level is just a little bit higher. It is close to that 10 o'clock time frame where we would see reversals come in. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get down before the end of the day. If price now was at this 90, I would like it a lot more. But I don't think this is necessarily going to be as strong. Particularly because again, if we see what we're hitting, what do we have going on right here? We have a base that's now come back to grab it and punch higher. So I feel like this is going to be able to punch through because again, rallied up. Well, first off, rallied here, and then it didn't go quite as high, and then pulled back and then started the base, and then punched through and came back. And what did it do? It grabbed more of those buyers to kind of push forward. So probably getting close to a top. But for me, the problem is if you take a short here, we do have confirmed buyers that are sitting right here. I think that you need to be a little bit concerned about that one. And we really don't have any more catalysts for the rest of in 6 minutes we get revised consumer sentiment. Like what are we going to necessarily do with that one? It's revised. It's not expected to really change much. Maybe the inflation expectation on that one, maybe that helps the Aussie a little bit. But for the most part, I don't think we have much more. I think it goes through. I think it starts testing and it has a backstop. So be cautious with this one. But that 90, I think, watch that over the weekend. Here we go. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, we're actually calling for dollar strength to come back in on this one. The problem is all the dollar strength came in from right here. There's the 3 o'clock candle, and we drove straight down into the news. And this is why I said it's so important to look at these things before the news actually comes out. Yeah, I mean, nice little pop, right? It literally pushed right back down again into a level right here. Look at the spacing. There's your confirmed level right there with a pop, right? Base, touch, boom, boom. That's what you ran into. It drove right into there before the news. It did go a little bit deep, right? The 830 did go a little tiny bit deep on that one, but not enough to not necessarily be concerned. So, and what did it do? It drove right back up to the 110. So, kind of, kind of expected, right? Kind of expected. Actually, this one, yeah, actually there's that. Did that one get stopped? Let's see. No, it didn't. That's the one it used. Yeah, it's actually there's the actual level. There's the touch. There's the touch. There's the touch, and that's what it used. So, um, yeah, I mean, I can't say that this one is necessarily surprising. Again, too much movement straight down into a level right before news. Again, another news pop on that one. Where this one goes now. But you're passing out. Kip is gonna be asleep at like 10 minutes on my lap. Yeah, buds. say this is an okay level. It has been tested. It is now officially, since this is the bottom, it is now in that 50% to 61 range. So I think that's not bad. The 110.32. We are kind of right in between it. It does, I mean, it would need to kind of reverse and go up another 40 pips. This one only has a 30 pip 4 hour ATR. So in 4 hours from now, you're talking about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. Would that be enough time to go up 40 and then turn around and run another 30 down, which would be another 4 hour ATR? Can it do it? Yes. Is statistics on our side for that one? Not really. But could we use that 110.32 over the weekend? Yes. I think that's actually a possibility. We've had the spike up now. I wouldn't be surprised if we turn and roll back down again. I think keep that on your radar. As far as this level here, we mentioned this one last week as well. It's kind of a funky zone the way that it was drawn. And we've hit it once. We've hit it in base in there and hit it again and hit it again. And this one went really, really deep. I don't expect it actually to hold again, but I'd like for it to come down and do some type of basing in that level. If we can get a base in there, I think that could actually set us up for a short. Now there are spikes down. There's not a lot of clean levels. I mean, there's a hit, a little higher hit, there's a little higher hit. But as far as something clean, we know we don't have anything clean to 109.19, and it's 40 pips to the downside. So there is a trade setup in here. I probably, I mean, how many we need now? Yeah, we need about 30 pips and then a base in there. It's going to run into the same problem. It's got a 4 hour ATR is 30. So technically it should take 2.5 to 3 hours to get down that low. If we don't have any crazy spike down. But then we would need a base, a drop, a pullback, and another drop. And I just don't know if we're gonna have enough time for that one. So yeah, look. I love it. US it's funny. This goes straight up, right? Right? This is going straight up from the news. Right? Straight up. Dollar second pair, that's not dollar strength. But what does it say? US dollar advances as inflation data affirms Fed rate hike next week. It's like that came out 36 minutes ago. Um, this going up is not the dollar strengthening. But okay. Okay. It strengthened before the news came out. So it's kind of like, did you write that article ahead of time? Right? Because yes, the dollar strengthened before the news came out. And then once the inflation data came out, the dollar weakened. So I love these. I love articles. Um, so yeah, look, we're playing with 110 right now. It's going to act as a magnet. I'm kind of hoping we just flatline in here, go up or down. I think there's two good setups in there. I don't know where the Harry Potter is down below, but I'm looking for something in here. Probably early next week, maybe for ISM manufacturing, something along those lines. Okay. Euro pound. Yeah, so we talked about being high on the curve yesterday, Thursday morning, and we were sitting right in here saying, hey, we got to pull back, look for a target at 88, and we hit that target, right? And we came down and we sliced through the 50, and then we hit the 61. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, a little bit lower. Yeah, yeah, it's working. Oh, God. And then, oh, God, we stopped out, and then boom, it collapsed. And now we're all the way on the complete other side, right? All the way down and restarted that move. So, again, all that push up to go high in the curve has been taken out now. The targets have been grabbed. This level we mentioned as well. Right, we pushed it pretty deep, and then again, we did break through it, so it's like, ugh, how much is actually left at that level? I mean, really, right now, bring this across. Yeah, I would say the next thing we're looking for is really some type of a slowdown. Maybe right here. Again, nice little base. It popped up, came down, based again, and that became the rally point here. And it is around the 61.8. So again, people will be looking at that. So again, this level is cleared. Again, no real basing, but I will say I do like the way that that is right there with three candles straight down. So that could be something. And again, it is backstopped by the old 50. So, yeah, right now, very clear. European weakness, pound strength coming in. We're seeing that. They got 2 hours to go for this market. So I don't see this one really changing its trajectory too much. And again, can we hit this and bounce off of it? Sure. But this one should run out of steam pretty quickly. It should be one of these where we hit like 11, 12 o'clock, and then it just has a little tiny bit of movement. Um, if you look back to last Friday we had one last surge at 11:30, and then what did it do once we hit that 12 o'clock candle? Right, we got one surge, and then it just dies until Monday morning. Actually, this one didn't even do anything in the overnight. Yeah, this one Friday at 11 o'clock gave us its final push, and then just flatlined. So that's what we're kind of looking for. Obviously, we got one more hour to go. So could we hit and bounce? I just don't think we're gonna have enough time on this one. But for next week, I wish this was cleaner. That'd be a nice run from 61 to 78, but that's not super clean. Right now, there's not even. I mean, even where we are right now, like we're not taking this, right? So, yeah, right now, again, not enough movement. The daily ATR is 42 total. So yeah, we're kind of extended at this point. Let's see. European Open down. We're at 49, so we're past the daily ATR. So yeah, it should bounce off this and then just flatline. So take it for the worst. See where this one opens on Sunday night and see what the overall trend is, whether it be euro, pound strong, or weak, and we'll run it with that. Again, seeing all the weakness there, then this one is exploding. Came right back down. Look how it used 47. And kind of the same thing. We knew we had this here, right? 3 touches. We're like, not really doing much with it, but we knew 47 would be a big deal. Yeah, there's yesterday morning, and then we just literally channeled, grabbed this again. So pull that off. We weren't into the 78.6. Again, this one slammed into it, but kind of the same thinking, right? What happened? Yeah. Midnight, right? News. We drove down for 2 hours for the news to come out at 47 and then went ham wild there, right? So, yeah, this would have been a target, this top section here. Again, not even the best. But we were calling for 149 and 150. We haven't hit 150 yet, but I think it's coming. I think we're going to get there. Those were the 2 earlier targets, and again, we hit the 149 today, this morning at 2, and yeah, let's put something up here at 150 because I think 150 is on its way. Um, Tax. Buds. There you go. So how far are we from it? Not like 20 pips. Yeah. So this one should hit by 1 or 2 o'clock today. Maybe even 12. Maybe we hit by 12. Okay, what is this here? Here, take this if you want. Here, you want this? You want to hold it? Okay, you hold it. Um, yeah. So this one smashed again. I was actually yesterday morning. I was thinking, hey, listen, I think we're gonna hit 149. I think 150's out. But obviously, this huge. The comments were big. But again, a great chart to show you on just 2 hours beforehand. All the market did was really load this one up in time for it to come out. Now, was there supplies that we could have taken this off of? Not really. This is not what I was comfortable with. And again, you see it did break through. It touched the 78, so we don't really need it. It hadn't touched the 78, so it wasn't really a zone that we could use. Um, but look how the 147 became really a defining point of where buyers were coming in, right? Driving it in, right? Came back down again and then just launched it. You know, again, this is why that whole number is such an important number. You can see there's nothing really over there. I don't even think maybe on the smaller time frame. No, it was still just a spike up and down. So, yeah, hard one to grab. But again, using that 147 out there, we're gonna leave this here now, just because again, that's an old level of basing. We're gonna probably use it most likely next week. We'll keep this here as a potential green. 149, we are now officially out. And funny, look, it pulled back, and there's your 149 right there, right there. I am gonna throw some fibs on this one though. I'm gonna have to adjust it. People are gonna look at that. I'm just gonna draw it up because I'm assuming that's where it's gonna come up to. I'm gonna remove this, the old level. I'm gonna draw this though. A little bit of buyers in there, but this one absolutely could run back again. A break of 148.80 all the way back down into this 147.50 range. So I think that's one we kind of keep our eye on. Yeah. So yeah, let's cap out. It's gonna tag it now. It's gonna do it before 11 o'clock at this point. Yeah, we're gonna hit this 150. So we will hit both of our upside profit targets for the week. Um, Again, look for a base. There's probably a rollback. This is just way too much, way too fast. So we should see a rollback, but I wouldn't trade it until next week. I would wait on this one until Sunday. So if it gives us a good top, Sunday night short on this one. Pound dollar, again, very strong push. Now, this one, interesting enough, you can see we tagged that 125 a few times. We hit it again late last night, right around that 10 o'clock time frame, and then boom, started to push it down, and then came back up, and then this, 4 o'clock, strong push back down with the data. And again, this will kind of stabilize itself. So not as much, but we were calling for this to be up here at the 125 before the data. And what did it do from its overnight? It basically drove it down. Okay. So again, not as easy of a trade, but this one is a little bit different than what we just had in the other trade, right? If you were looking for basing, you could say that listen, there was your basing, there was your 830. So could you have taken this long? Sure, absolutely. This is what it would have looked like. Here's your 830 candle, right? We dropped, and we knew there was a 50% retracement as well. So here, let's just pull this across. We knew this was bisecting through. You could have said, hey, listen, I'm going to take that zone right there, and then you would have gotten in just a little bit early. But if you're looking for near-term base, there's your near-term base, right? There's your touch of it. There's your confirmation. We know we're clear to the top side. There's your long at 830. Okay. The risk on this one was very, very tiny, right? 15 pips, right? For 45. And it is obviously out at this point. But again, news based trade, but it's too loud. 3 is right. Hold on, stop. Too loud on your head. Yeah, and you can say it's right before the 125. So that was a nice little easy setup. And again, the overall consensus was in the overnight. What did it do? It drove it down. It was finding a level down here and put a new level in it ahead of time. So easy news based trade. Where this one goes, it's so funny. Didn't we just talk about how the dollar it was going up in strength? Yet here is the dollar since news weakening versus the pound. So yeah, I love those articles. But just leave it. Just watch it. There you go. Just watch it. You're good. Just watch it. Hold on. Give me this little toe. Stop. Hold on. There. You stabbed him with that twice last night. There's a reversal due to come in, but again, I would probably wait until Sunday night to be able to trade this one. Wait for it to go up and for the pound to exhaust. Look for a reversal, and then Sunday night again. They're already talking about, hey, listen, this is confirming that we're going to have a raise, right? Confirming that we're going to have a raise. So they're already starting to talk about what's going to happen next week with that raise. Pound yen again, same thing. Kind of textbook. We were looking for target at 167 on the top side, right? Why were we looking for a target? Because it did the same thing, right? Late last night, came straight in for that the Japanese data. Japanese data hit, and then boom, it took off. Now this one also is kind of a max extension, 417 pips, so it's over double the daily ATR. We're looking for a top on this one. Haven't found it yet, and I assume it's going to be the same thing. Japanese market's obviously closed. Pound market's going to run out of steam very, very soon. It'll become nothing but a proxy play with the yen. Look for a top. We are quite extended. I would say it probably pulls back as profit taking comes in. It may do it before the end of the day. But again, another one of those news trade setups where 2 hours before they drop it down to get it on sale, just in time for a good buy. Exploded higher, and there's been some pullbacks with it. Let's see. We're going to do the low to high here to see if anything matches. There's a little bit there. Right, kind of the old target. But we can adjust a lot of stuff on this one. We can clean a lot of these out now. Let's pull off that just to clean that up. That one's good. Pull that, pull that. And actually, people may run it from there, which is fine. Yeah, so I think that's good. So we'll see where the overall top is. Can we get to 171? 50 pips. It's got a 74 4-hour ATR. So stop. He knows where the sound buttons are on my phone. Here. So he's like, oh, look at this. I can hit the buttons. So yeah, probably a reversal up top, and it's going to be the same thing. Way too much of an extension over double the daily ATR on a Friday. We would expect to see it to roll back, and I do think that comes in. So, but it's not in there yet. And again, we're going to run out of steam very, very quickly in the pound. But Sunday night, I think this is gives us the ability to take a nice little short off the top. Dollar CAD. Look at that, man. That thing said that it was amazing. The dollar is rallying. I'm not sure when they wrote that article. Now this one did come up and grab levels up top that we were talking about in the overnight. Now, the hard part about this one is, so this morning with the European session, it surged. It went straight up in the air, and then 5:30, we started to hit a reversal to pull back down again. And if you look at this one was hard because we did have double news this morning, right? Let me go here. Let's take this off. Let's go over here. As you can see, we had CAD weakness coming in. I mean, technically, looking at this one, it's CAD weakness, dollar strength is what this is showing you. But what are we seeing? Dollar CAD strength rolling back in, right? You're seeing, and again, what is it? It's technically weak dollar play, which we're seeing everywhere. And again, I think that's because they did the strong dollar early, right? And so they're playing the retail trader. And then the CAD data, it's not really great, but you're seeing oil start to surge. It's above 75. So it's giving them a little bit of strength. So this one's kind of strange. I wouldn't say the trajectory has changed at all. We can pull some of these off. All these are out now. Again, never a great entry on this one. Never a great entry. It's a shame because I really like that zone, but never the great entry. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. It should have broken. Let's pull that. Let's adjust this. And again, I actually don't mind that top, and that top just happened to coincide with what the old top looked like. Right now, I would say again, if you are short, awesome job. I would say look for be cautious. There's some profit taking coming in right here. You can see there's a base with a punch up, as well as the 23.6 is sitting right behind it. This would get you another 16 pips. Obviously, trail yourself. At this point, I'd probably again, if you were short, um, ideally you're there, but I may even drop it down and just trail yourself here as this one comes down. And again, if you want to just keep trailing it lower, we don't have any reversal yet, right? From the entry, there's your kind of pullback on the 15 minute, right? Green, nothing. Red, green did go as high. Obviously, a big surge right now. I expect to see something in here, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to slow it down right now with what the trajectory is. So, yeah, I would say look for a profit target there, right? But again, this one is again huge surge up, a parabolic move up, and then a parabolic retracement right back down again. And if you look at the news, you're scratching your head, going, "Wait, that doesn't make any sense." And it does, but it doesn't. They got in and out very quickly, and then played the retail trader on it. Dollar Swiss. Okay, what did dollar Swiss do? Interestingly enough, here's where the European market opened. There's where the news came out. So yes, was it at a peak? No. Was it still surging? Did we still have the surge for 2 hours beforehand? Yes. And what was the response? It shot right back down. Okay. Now, news wise, I would have to say this one is a little bit riskier. That's kind of where you would have to draw the most recent zone. Is that a confirmation in the overnight? Yep, it is. Is it the best one? Not really. It kind of went all the way to the top. You're like, oh, is it? Is it zone? It is. It is. Right. Again, this one is out. Take that one off. Um, remove that one. So is this a short that I'm like, yeah, you should have been all over? Not as much. I think there was other opportunities out there. The 1 and 3 is there. It's officially out, right? It got out on the second candle afterwards. Again, what did it do? It drove up an hour and a half, 2 hours before. It just looks like the pound yen and everything else out there. Obviously, this is the dollar Swiss though. So it did drive up into a level confirmed in the overnight, and then boom, an explosion down. And this happened to be a 10 for 30. And what did it do at 30? It started to kind of ricochet back and forth. So I think this one does go lower. Is there a Harry Potter trade here? No. Obviously, you got the 50% retracement. You got a little bit of a level sitting right here. And that's what we bounced off of, so not surprising. I think it probably comes down and test, but if it breaks, it's got another level. And look at this. The 61.8 now is bisecting right through there. So I'd say right now, again, if this wants to continue down, I hope this one doesn't come all the way down and break. It would have to go another 30 pips. That's over a 4-hour ATR. It's got to chunk through buyers here and then get them all the way down. And that's, again, in 4 hours. Obviously, we're getting late in the afternoon. So I kind of like this 89. Again, it's another one of those things where we see this dollar weakness opening up the new week when we're talking about interest rate rises. That's a nice little level to take off of. So I'm good with this 89.05 for next week. All right. Dollar yen. Bam. There we go. We called 135 and we crushed it. It's funny. It actually hit it and then started the base through and then punched through. So you were out here. This one was the trade that we talked about yesterday morning. This is 10:30 is right where we're hitting this trade. If you remember, we put it on. It looked like this, right? This is our 10 o'clock, 10:30 window. So that's what it looked like yesterday morning. It took till 7:30 p.m. last night. You ran that one all day, 11 for 33 in the overnight, and then you were out. And again, when it comes to the second time, we're not necessarily as interested with it. This one, again, very hard place. You could say that, hey, listen, here was the next clean area of buyers. There was a bit of a confirmation that popped off of it at 11 o'clock last night. And then boom, there's the data at midnight, right? Same setup. I think they're all basically the same. All the yen based trades, there was that touch and again, confirmation. and it just took off. So that 135 would have been our target, and it did hit it. We didn't call for anything much past it, but it did hit it, and then was kind of followed through today. And now we're past 136. So not only was 135 hit, 136 was hit, and at this point, it's the same thing for the pound yen. We are beyond the extension. Take it from where this all started this morning. 308 pips. The daily ATR is 122, so we are over double, right? 244 would be double. It's up what, one and a half times or two and a half times. At this point, you got to be looking for reversals next week. And remember, once this does get high enough, it is actually considered hurting the yen, hurting the Japanese economy. So, you know, not that I had any expectations of a intervention of sorts, but um, I feel like it's something that you got to kind of watch out for and say, hey, this could come, just because there's so much movement so fast, and again, we are at levels now where it does become a little bit of an issue for. Yeah, I know. Don't stop. Do that. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. No, sorry, buds. All right, I'm gonna do it in a second, but I'm cutting that before you get up. So yeah, I look for reversal. I don't want to play with it today. Wait for it to pull up. Wait for it to put a nice little top in, and then turn and roll and flip on Sunday night. But it's like, yeah, the dollar's surging. I don't know if it's quite surging. Yeah, does this look like the dollar surging to you? I mean, am I wrong? Am I blind? The European session, what did it do? It drove it straight up in time for this to kind of push down. Does this look like it's surging? Right? I really feel like that article was written before the news came out and then published. They were just like, "Yep, that's it. Pull it. Go." Um, I don't feel like this is certain. Yeah, it's green because where it closed yesterday, but since the news came out, the inflation data is what they said. It's going down. So yeah, they're taking that as a really weak sign. Anyway, let's do crude. So crude, it's chopping, but we're not really doing much. We're looking at this level. Look at how many times we've hit it now, right? We hit it at 9. We hit it at 11. We hit it late last or this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we're still kind of stuck at that 75.20 area. We're unable to get up to that 76.25. I don't know if we can get all the way up there today based off that data. Maybe, but again, U.S. session, we tend to see this rally, and you know, you gotta kind of note that, hey, listen, we got selling occurring here as we push back into it. Can this market fully exhaust and then kind of turn and roll right now? So, yeah, 17 cents. I would like us to close at 70 below 75. I think it's a great way to end the week closing below 75. That kind of sets us up next week. And the natural gas, we talked about it already. Huge spike up, huge spike down, and there's been crazy data, right? Um, Oh, a fire and a lightning spike. Okay, is this what it is? Oh, here you go. So yeah, I guess there's a lightning spike. Yeah. And inventories rose, right? So we're sitting at up 22% above our 5-year average for yeah. Seas temperatures continuing for the next 2 weeks. Maybe that's well, could be. Sees below seasonal temperatures for states east of the Mississippi for the next 2 weeks, keeping temperatures mild and cutting into cooling demand. So that's actually not horrible either. I mean, I don't know. Is it cool enough? It's funny. They're saying cooling demand, right? Obviously, air conditioners. We're not going to need air conditioners. But as far as I know, I'm not using my natural gas to run my air conditioner. Maybe I'm misinformed, but I mean, I refuse to turn the heater back on. We're just doing sweatshirts. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So, I guess lightning strike, but that should dissipate in again. With this being a headline based news spike, this is a short next week. So, look for this short. Gold, kind of interesting. Gold went rather flat, and then at 8:30 we got the pop. I don't know why I missed this one. Right, got a quick pop up. All it did was grab sellers there that were confirmed. Right, base late night morning session, kind of a quick spike up. Right, quick spike up, and now it's rolling back again. So, kind of same thinking. We're well below 2,000. I'd really like to start getting in this range back down in the 1974. So, it's pushing. It's pushing. Yeah, it's going down. So, um, I don't have a trade setup on it now. Remember, this market does close earlier. All commodities do. Yeah, no trade setup. You could have traded this kind of news reversal, but even then, again, not super clean. Um, yeah, look at silver. Look at the chop in silver, right? Look at this. Boom, boom. It closed here. Boom, boom. Closed there. Went up. Grabbed the same level right there, and then pushed back down again. So the trajectory hasn't really changed. Um, again, rather tame. Rather tame. So I have to get basic on this one, but I'm gonna delete it for right now. Had multiple spikes, but no entries through this one. I want to see basing around there. I don't love much of this one. Minus that 25 mark. I like us to keep us below 25. Let me mark that off real quick. Yeah, I'm thinking next week. I think we're shooting for this next week. I think 20. I think 25.50 and 24. I'm sorry, 24.50 and 24 both targets for next week, especially with the raise. Um, I'd like to see us close below 25 though. I think there's a Sunday night trade in here. It's all right. I don't necessarily love it. All right, indices. Indices are all taking that as great data. I mean, the dollar is now pulling back as everybody's going to take that as super negative, right? Super negative data. Let's see what we got. Yeah, they're taking that as a good sign, and this actually may have a lot to do with the spending and increases, which is good. That data was excellent, right? Getting paid more, right? Getting paid more, spending the same. Again, they're taking this as not negative. They're taking this as a great sign that people are getting paid more. And then the Chicago PMI numbers are being higher. Let's see, what was the inflation expectation? 4.6. So as the same as it was. So no change there. Consumer sentiment was the same. Again, Chicago PMI going back towards, you know, yeah. So that's good. That's positive. Yeah, look at this. All positive data. People spending more, but not, or I'm sorry, people getting paid more, which is a good sign, but nothing more than that. So yeah, so straight up, so people are really liking that data. It's funny. Everybody thought, that data was like, yeah, it's ensuring an interest rate rise next week, but everybody took this as good. So it looks like we're getting almost away from anything that is inflation related as being super inflammatory to the point where, Kip, stop. All right, buds, but I have to cut this. Um, Inflation, anything was associated with inflation before was like wrecking the overall indices, but right now we're having the opposite effect. Now it's more like, what is a recession going to look like? Not, are they going to raise interest rates? So it's interesting that it cycles out. So good feel good Friday in effect right now. Was there any opening print today? In regards to opening print, an 8:30 and a 9:45 are wedged between a monstrous number and then data coming in soon afterwards. So it's always going to be a bit more difficult. You can see that the 8:30 was here. There was actually no reaction whatsoever off the 9:30. Again, partly for that is because right here we had more data popping in. Now, was there anything in here we could have traded? There was a little bit here. You can see that there's a base here, and there's a little bit of a confirmation touch at 8 o'clock. It did kind of pull away, and then obviously the 8:30 data point came down, grabbed it, and took off. Honestly, I like this trade better in the currency market than I liked it with futures, but you could have traded this with futures over here. I am surprised that we've had the rally that we have had off of it. Look at this 1 hour ago. Wall Street set to open lower as Amazon drags inflation worries persist. Does that look like it? Like, did it open lower? I mean, it's doing quite well. Doing quite well. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think it's great. People are getting paid more. They're not spending as much. That puts more into savings. That puts us in a pretty good spot. So, I mean, that's all good. And it looks like the market's finally just agreeing that, hey, listen, they're going to raise interest rates. So, again, do you want to put a cap on this one today? Nah, it looks like we got a pretty nice little feel good Friday going in there. So, again, at the open, could you trade the news? Yeah, sure. But not really an opening print based strategy today. NQ. All right. So, 9:30 went straight down to find buyers. I mean, all honesty, this one held pretty firm, right? 8:30, the news was like good. The open came back down, grabbed those buyers, and then boom, it just took off. It didn't even pause at the gap fill. So yeah, I mean, opening print, no, nothing confirmed in the overnight at all. Right, the 830 pushed it low enough, so there was no confirmations at all. Could you have traded that base right there? Sure, you could have. Right, but again, once this one drove lower than that, it kind of erased any confirmation of it. So yeah, yeah. I mean, you could have taken that one. There's a case that you could have, but it wouldn't have met all the rules, right? YM. Yeah, there's 830. There's a base. I mean, there's a base right there, right? 930. Here's your opening printing was already gone. So could you have news traded this one? Sure, it wasn't really clean. It just kind of went up and down. It's like, what the heck did we do with this? And then boom, took. I mean, look, it's been straight up since the open, right? That's a nice move, very strong move, right? Market is all in on that one, so that's great data. Yeah, they're really liking this. And again, look at that, Russell up 0.9. No, unfortunately, here was the overnight. There was a confirmation. It never came low enough. Again, look at the chop at the 830 number, and then it just accelerated. Everybody loved that data. So, yeah, crazy. They're not taking this as a negative, right? They're not taking this as a negative. This came in exactly as expected, not looking at this as a positive number. Again, people getting paid more. They're liking that. Personal income up. Personal spending, it was 0.1 last month. It slowed down this month. They spent just as much. It wasn't a lower bit of spending, but I think this is trumping all that data. This is trumping all that data. So um, not bad. I don't know. Maybe this is what it is. Lamar Jackson finally agrees to a massive 5-year deal, even though everybody in Baltimore did not want him. Right? So maybe that's what it is. The markets are rallying because Baltimore got Lamar Jackson back. That must be what it is. It's got to be what it is, right? There you go. Football trumps all, right? Um, the uncertainty about what Lamar Jackson's contract looked like. Everybody's in. Got to be it. So yeah, yeah. So it looks like the sentiment is definitely positive. I would say in line with what we're seeing with the dollar. Again, the dollar is obviously not, kind of funny. The dollar is not surging the way that it said that it was going to, right? Yeah, weak dollar. I think this is setting this up for a long next week. All this feel good Friday action right here. It's awesome for the overall markets. Have people feel good about it. Um, I think we're going to hear about what that interest rate rise looks like next week, especially with the market surging. There's no risk at this point of collapsing the markets. Yeah, we just need these two numbers to come down, right? So, yeah, it's funny. Gold and silver are still heading to the downside. They're still painting this, and they're painting. Look, dollar is still technically painting green, even though we know it's pulling back. These two are painting red. Commodities are a little bit higher, but people are making more money, so it's good. So yeah, interesting. I would not have expected this much of a surge, but hey, it is what it is, right? Again, markets will do irrational things sometimes. So maybe we get a cap and a pullback. We will get some profit taking, but I don't think it's gonna be enough to really establish much in here. So if anything, maybe we pull back up into here, right? But it's funny that the Russell is surging so much. I think the Russell is going to be set up for a big red on Monday, Tuesday. All right, that's it for today. So let's go into our drawing. Look at this. Everybody's sleeping today. Maybe it's the rain, right? Maybe it is the rain. Butts. Sorry, butts, but he's stabbing with these little toenails. So it looks like people are going to take it cheap today. Look at this. We got a 50-50 in. I'll go to 230, and then I'm shutting it down. Look at that. Missing Marina, Ernest. I know, right, Will? Here we go. 4 seconds before Ernest jumps in at the last second. 3, 2, 1. I said I'd close it down at the 30-second mark. So look at this, 50-50. Everybody's sleeping today. No Ernest, no Neuro in here, no Marina in here today. Man, everybody's on vacation today on Friday, right? All right, let's see who it is. Will or Debbie, 50-50. Winner of today's drawing is Will. Congrats, Debbie. Wow. Look at that. Mr. No Confidence. Mr. No Confidence, right? Debbie won twice this week. So, all right, Will, congratulations, bud. Look at that. Mr. No Confidence. Congrats, Debbie. Debbie, I'd be mad at him. He did that on purpose. He did that on purpose. All right. So that's it for today. Look at that. Right on the 1030 dot. That's pretty good. Pretty happy about that. So, yeah, look at this. 240, 380. Yeah, these 388. These two are definitely going to be set for reversal on Monday. So, Yeah, look for these two. Yeah, I already missed my answer, but I guess this is my correct translation. Yeah, yeah. So you missed the ES one. Yeah, yeah. So it happens. All right, with that, I am out of here. So I will catch you guys Monday morning, 9:30 Eastern time. A lot of decent setups for Sunday night, I think, are coming through. So look for those reversals. Hopefully, we end highs and lows all day, and then again, we look for reversals Monday and bring us back into normal. So with that, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Stay dry. I know I have like 2 days worth of rain here, so it's going to be a really fun, exciting weekend for us. Um, Nothing but rain. So all right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys Monday. Take care.